Welcome to American News Network. We have breaking news. Iran has bombed some ships in the shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz, and Trump says, let me think about this. Pow! And then he starts sending military might over there. But here's what's the difference between this military might and what happened about 30 days ago. These bombs are bigger, the explosions are bigger, and the targets are more direct at Iran's key infrastructure. The reason I bring this up is because I don't think Iran understands exactly how they've poked the bear and how the bear is going to respond. But Trump's sending a couple of taps, just a couple of love taps. Here's a little report to show you what I'm talking about.
U.S. Central Command says that U.S. forces are launching new strikes on Iran tonight. CENTCOM says 3 commercial ships were targeted by Iran today while traveling through the Strait of Hormuz. Officials say the ships were using a route along the coast of Oman, outside the route Iran has said is safe for passage. Meanwhile, talks between the U.S. and Iran aimed at reopening the strait and limiting Iran's nuclear program remain on hold during funeral events for Iran's former supreme leader, who was killed earlier in the war.
What I love about this report mostly is when Iran decided to issue its own decree of acceptance on who was sailing and who wasn't sailing in the Strait of Hormuz. So they started firing. This is like a drunk that has a loaded gun at about 3 in the morning that's high on drugs, and you're supposed to trust that they won't fire it off. And they do. Every single time they do. And then they learn after the cops come and arrest them and throw them in jail that they shouldn't do it. And they're like, man, I'll never do that again. And then, of course, you just never know how the future holds. But if you send a strong enough message to them, they don't do it again. Unfortunately, with Iran, is these guys can just beat their head against a wall and nothing happens. They don't get more sense. They don't have less sense. They're just absolutely insane. And you have to be careful with these types of people. So trust in our president. Trust Trump. That's the bottom line. This guy knows what he's doing. We can't sit here and second guess what our president's doing. He understands completely what's happening. Go USA, go United States, go Trump.